Yeah, and I think when you look at that kind of outcome-based model, there are obviously two aspects to it. There's actually packaging up work differently and understanding that it's about something ultimately needs to be done. Now, you could have someone sitting there as a PSC contractor on a time and materials basis, just churning away doing that, or you could, and that's a job, that's a role, or you could look at what ultimately needs to be done, strategically package that up and genuinely outsource it. So there's that aspect of it, of how work is delivered, how work is packaged up. But then there's does the way that it's delivered match with the way that it's packaged up? And I think they're kind of two separate hurdles, but I'm not sure whether that's something that you're seeing more being dealt with by procurement or more falling under HR, or where do you see that whole kind of scenario sitting, where people are looking at outcome-based opportunities as a way of getting work done?
Well, I think, yeah. So I suppose that question of is it more HR, is it more procurement, or whatever, it plays to the same weakness as the whole thing about I want to contract with that service because I want to maintain my current contract support kind of thing. It's, if you've got the wrong drivers in the first place, you're going to come out with the wrong response. So I don't see it as being HR or procurement. I see it as being driven by the business need. So it's a functional thing. It's educating people to understand I want to get something done, and what's the cleanest way to do that. Some programs are naturally organic. It's all about how teams work well together, and that is a staffing requirement. But there's too much money spent unnecessarily on maintaining resources on a what-if basis, because people are too scared. I find people, when I talk to people about, well, have you considered, creating a statement of work with clear outputs and deliverables, and actually binding the provider to deliver on that basis, and even the buyers themselves, even though they can see the kind of cost benefits of that, they're too scared about their ability to consider all the possibilities. And I said, well, okay, that's understandable, but if you take a clear methodical approach to doing that, then there's not going to be much argument on that front. If you set out the basis on which these milestones are get set off, that's fine. And then the flip side of that is, if these people genuinely want, if these people are genuinely providing services as a business, then absolutely they should be bidding and taking on that risk. They should be saying, yes, we understand that, we've taken on board and we recognise the requirements you've given us, and we will commit to delivering on that basis in that time. And actually what you find is, when I've spoken to people who are career sort of contractors, who originally probably, if I'm honest, set up their businesses just because their accountant told them to, and it may be 3 years into a long-term engagement in a financial services firm or something like that. But actually, when you say to them, going forward, are you interested in, genuinely working at risk, being involved in going to a client and saying, this is how we're going to deliver that outcome for you, rather than just being hired to do it, they jump at the chance.